The words came through my laptop speaker like a slap. "We don't want to see your face at her graduation." My mother's voice was steady, cold, not angry, just matter of fact, like she was telling me to pick up milk on the way home. I stared at her face in that little Zoom square. She didn't blink, didn't apologize. Just waited for me to react the way I always did, with an apology, with compliance, with whatever they needed from me. My sister Sloane sat next to her, arms crossed, trying not to smile. My father studied the wall behind his computer like it held the answers to everything he'd never had the courage to ask. And something inside me, something that had been bending and bending for years, finally broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet snap, like a lock clicking open. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just reached for the one thing they never thought I'd take back. My name is Danielle. For 28 years, I thought being a good daughter meant being an endless bank account. I thought love was supposed to hurt a little. I thought if I just gave enough, did enough, paid enough, eventually, I'd earn my place in this family. I was wrong. Let me tell you how I figured that out. Growing up, my family had this unspoken rule. Sandra, my mother, was the sun. Everyone else. We just orbited around her, grateful for whatever warmth came our way. Douglas, my dad, never questioned it. He nodded along, kept his head down, made sure Mom was happy. That was his job. Sloane, my younger sister, got to bloom in all that attention. She was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. Every achievement celebrated, every mistake forgiven before it even landed. And me? I learned to live in the shade. It wasn't cruel, exactly. It was just the way things were. Some people are born to shine. Others are born to hold the spotlight. I remember being 12, bringing home a report card with straight A's. I was so proud, thought maybe this time I'd get the reaction Sloane always got. Mom glanced at it, nodded, and said, "That's nice, honey." Then she turned to Sloane, who'd gotten a B+ in art, and spent 20 minutes talking about her creative spirit and how special she was. I learned that day that my achievements were expected. Sloane's were celebrated. There's a difference. When I moved to Seattle in my 20s, I thought distance would change things. I got a good job in finance tech, found a decent apartment, built a life that felt like mine. I thought maybe I could finally step out of that old pattern. I was naive. The first call came a week after I got my first real paycheck. Mom's voice on the other end, warm and proud and just tired enough to make me feel needed. "Sloane's tuition bill came in," she said. "It's higher than we thought. Could you help? Just this once. Just this once." I said yes before I even thought about it. It felt good, honestly. Like I was finally contributing something that mattered. Like maybe this was how I could earn my place. By the end of that year, just this once had turned into every semester. Every textbook. Every off-campus apartment deposit. Every emergency that somehow always involved Sloane needing something. Sloane never thanked me. Not really. Mom stopped pretending it was temporary. Dad stayed silent, which was his way of keeping the peace. And every time I hesitated, every time I wondered if maybe this was too much, Mom would get this tone in her voice. Not angry, but disappointed. Like I was being selfish for even thinking about my own bank account. That tone could get me faster than any argument. I remember one Christmas, I'd saved up for months to buy Sloane a laptop. A good one, the kind she needed for her design courses. I was actually excited to give it to her. I'd wrapped it carefully, added a card telling her how proud I was of her. She unwrapped it slowly, glanced at the screen, and said, "Oh. I thought it was the higher model." Just like that. No, thank you. No acknowledgement that I just spent $2,000 on her. Mom laughed softly and patted Sloane's hand. "Maybe next year, sweetie." I sat there holding my coffee mug so tight I thought it might crack. The burn in my chest spread through my whole body, but I swallowed it down. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Maybe next year." Sloane didn't even look at me when she said, "Can I still return this for the better one?" I told myself it didn't matter. That I was being petty. That family wasn't about keeping score. But it did matter. All of it mattered. The moment that cracked something in me came on an ordinary Tuesday. Mom was visiting, rare, but she'd come up to Seattle for some conference. Her phone sat on my kitchen counter, and a text lit up the screen before she could grab it. My aunt, still making Danielle pay for everything. I wasn't trying to snoop. The message was just there, bright and obvious. Mom's reply appeared a second later. She pays because she's gullible. Let her. Then another line, the one that's burned into my brain. Some people were born to support the family. Followed by a smiley face. I stood there, frozen, staring at those words until they blurred. My hands were shaking. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Mom came back into the kitchen a minute later, grabbed her phone, and smiled at me like nothing had happened. Want to grab lunch? She asked. I heard myself say yes. I went to lunch with her. I smiled. I paid for the meal. Because that's what I did. I never confronted her. I just carried that knowledge around like a bruise under my clothes, always there, always aching when I pressed on it. And still, I kept paying. Because some part of me believed that if I stayed useful, I'd eventually feel like I belonged. The days before that Zoom call felt wrong. Like the air before a thunderstorm, heavy and waiting. Sloane had been quiet, which never meant peace with her. It meant she was planning something. Mom sent me a string of texts asking if the next tuition payment had processed. No, please. No, thank you. Just an expectation that I'd already handled it. I told myself it was normal. This was what I'd always done. Then my bank called. The woman on the phone was calm and professional. She explained that there'd been unusual activity on a card linked to my account, a card I'd completely forgotten existed. Designer shoes. A bracelet. A weekend shopping spree at stores I'd never even heard of. Total, just over $4,000. My stomach dropped. My apartment suddenly felt too small, too hot. We need to verify these purchases were authorized, she said. They weren't. I knew, before I even looked at the details, who'd done it. The card was supposed to be for groceries. I'd added Sloane years ago when she was in college, living off campus. It was supposed to be for emergencies. I hadn't checked that account in years. When I called Mom, she laughed. Actually laughed. You're being dramatic, she said. Sloane needed a few things for graduation. Don't ruin the moment. Ruin the moment. Like I was the one taking something. Mom, she spent $4,000 without asking me. Oh, don't be like that. You know she's been stressed. She deserves to feel good on her big day. My hand tightened around my phone. I deserve to be asked. She sighed, like I was exhausting her. Danielle, don't make this difficult. You have the money. Sloane doesn't. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Like it was a law of nature. Like I existed solely to fund my sister's life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went through all my accounts, pulling statements I hadn't looked at in months. 2 more cards. Both maxed out. Payments I'd never approved. Subscriptions I'd never used. Every single one linked back to my family's address or Sloane's email. This wasn't carelessness. This wasn't even entitlement. This was theft dressed up as family. The final blow came the next morning. Sloane had accidentally forwarded a screenshot from her group chat. My name was at the top. Her message underneath. Don't worry about money. Danielle exists for that. She's basically our cash cow. Her friend had replied with a laughing emoji. Must be nice having a sister like that. Sloane, right? She literally never says no. It's kind of pathetic, but whatever, works for me. I read those words 10 times. Then 20. Each time, they hit harder. I stared at those words for a long time. Then I opened my laptop and joined the family Zoom call. They were already there when the screen loaded. Mom in the center, perfectly framed. Sloane beside her, looking smug. Dad in the background, hands in his pockets. Mom didn't waste time. We don't want to see your face at her graduation. Just like that. No build-up. No explanation. My throat tightened, but I kept my face blank. This isn't about you, Mom continued, waving her hand like she was swatting away my feelings. Don't make it about you. Sloane needs a peaceful day. Sloane nodded, leaning into the camera. Yeah, you always make everything tense. Just stay home. It's better for everyone. I make things tense. I asked quietly. You know what I mean, Sloane said. You're always. I don't know. You have this energy. Like you're judging us or something. I almost laughed. Judging them. Me. The woman who'd been bankrolling their lives for nearly a decade. Dad looked at the floor. Once, maybe even a week ago, that kind of dismissal would have destroyed me. I would have apologized for existing, for somehow ruining Sloane's big day just by being alive. But the theft. The messages. The years of quiet taking. It all clicked into place. My voice came out low. Steady. Then you'll never see my money again. Mom blinked like the words didn't compute. Sloane scoffed. What? You heard me. If I'm not welcome at the graduation, you're not welcome to my bank account. Mom's face hardened. Don't be childish. Childish? You just uninvited me from a family event and you're calling me childish. This is Sloane's day, Mom snapped. Stop making it about you. I'm not making anything about me. I'm just done paying for people who don't want me around. Sloane leaned forward, eyes narrowed. You're seriously going to punish me because your feelings are hurt? Punish you? I shook my head. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just stepping back. You're an adult. You can handle your own bills. The silence that followed was thick. Mom recovered first. We'll talk about this later when you've calmed down. I am calm, I said. Probably the calmest I've been in years. I meant every syllable. When the call ended, my apartment felt strange. Quiet in a way it hadn't been in years. I didn't rush to fix anything. Didn't replay their words, searching for ways to make it better. I just sat there, letting the silence settle around me. Then I opened my laptop. Sloane's tuition portal loaded on my screen. One more semester pending, one more payment scheduled under my name. My finger hovered over the cancel button. All those years of payments flashed through my mind. The late nights working overtime. The vacations I didn't take. The things I didn't buy myself because I was too busy funding Sloane's life. I clicked it. Years of obligation, gone in a second. Next, I pulled up my bank dashboard. 3 cards tied to my name, all showing activity I'd never approved. I froze every single account. Changed every password. Removed every connected device. Sloane's phone, Mom's tablet, all of it. Each click felt like peeling off a layer of someone else's expectations. The system chimed confirmations back at me, and I felt something shift in my chest. Not anger. Clarity. I spent the next hour going through everything. Creating a folder of evidence, not to weaponize, but to finally see the truth laid out plainly. Every transaction told a story. Sloane's spring break trip. Mom's spa weekend. Dad's golf club membership. All on my cards. All without permission. That's when I found the audio file. Months ago, I'd left my phone on speaker during a family call. It had recorded accidentally. I'd forgotten about it until now. I hit play. Mom's voice came through, light and amused. She'll pay. She always pays. Sloane laughed in the background. It's basically her purpose. Mom again, some people are just wired to give. Danielle's one of them. We're lucky. Dad's voice, quieter. Should we maybe ease up? Mom, why? She's never complained. She likes feeling needed. I closed the file slowly. Not because it hurt, though it did, but because I needed to hear it. Needed that final proof that I wasn't imagining things. My phone buzzed. Sloane, did the payment go through? I can't see it. Mom, don't be childish. Fix this. Dad, just breathe. Don't make things worse. Worse. Like the worst thing I'd done was finally say no. I didn't respond. Instead, I logged out of every shared subscription we had. Music, streaming, grocery deliveries. Everything tied to my accounts. The list was longer than I'd expected. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify Family, the meal kit service, the cloud storage, even the damn car insurance. By the time I stood up, the sky outside had turned deep blue. I felt lighter than I had in years. They thought cutting me out of a ceremony would keep me small. All it did was give me room to finally step out. 3 days passed in silence. Then Mom sent an email. Subject line, urgent, family meeting. I clicked the Zoom link out of curiosity more than anything else. They were all already there when I joined. Mom in the center, chin up. Sloane beside her, makeup perfect but eyes tight. Dad hovering in the back. We need to address your behavior, Mom said the second my face appeared. I said nothing. She continued. Sloane's graduation is in less than 2 weeks. They won't let her walk unless the balance is paid. You know this. You've always handled it. So fix it. Sloane rolled her eyes. I don't get why you're making this a big deal. You have the career. Just do what you always do. For a moment, I wondered if they actually didn't see it. The theft. The manipulation. The entitlement. Or maybe they saw it all along and just didn't care. I'm not paying, I said calmly. Mom's face twisted. Don't be ridiculous. You're angry, fine. But don't sabotage your sister out of spite. I'm not sabotaging her. I'm stepping out of a role I never agreed to play. Dad finally spoke. Let's not escalate. We can talk this through. Talk. I let out a soft breath. You don't talk. You tell. Sloane scoffed. This is so dramatic. You act like we've done something to you. I shared my screen. The folder opened. Payments. Bills. Statements. All organized in neat, damning rows. What is this? Mom demanded. The truth, I said. I clicked through slowly. The unauthorized purchases. The maxed out cards. The charges linked to Sloane's email and the family address. The grocery card used for luxury items. Each line item, each transaction, building a picture they couldn't deny. Sloane's mouth tightened. Mom's face stayed stiff, but something flickered in her eyes. Recognition, maybe. Or fear. Dad stepped closer to his camera. Danielle, you could have just talked to us. I tried. For years. I clicked another file. The audio played. Mom's voice echoed through all our speakers. She'll pay. She always pays. Sloane's laugh. It's basically her purpose. When it ended, no one spoke. Even Sloane's confidence faltered. Mom found her voice first. I can't believe you recorded us. I didn't. It was automatic, but I listened. Sloane crossed her arms. You're blowing this out of proportion. Proportion. I repeated. You stole my identity. You used my credit without permission. You impersonated me to reinstate the tuition plan. The school emailed me about it. That landed hard. Sloane's cheeks flushed. That was a misunderstanding. It was fraud, I said, still calm. And I'm choosing not to press charges. For now. Mom's composure cracked. Charges. Against your own sister. What is wrong with you? What's wrong, I said slowly, is that you raised her to believe she could do it. Dad spoke, barely a whisper. Danielle, we didn't know it got this far. Yes, you did. You just didn't want to stop it. Mom slammed her hand on the table. Enough. You are not destroying this family because of a few misunderstandings. Sloane deserves her moment. You owe it to us. I leaned forward. I don't owe you anything. The sentence hit them like a physical blow. Sloane blinked rapidly. So you're just going to let me look stupid on graduation day? You're an adult, I said. Your education is your responsibility. Mom shook her head. You've changed. This isn't you. No, I corrected. This is me without your script. Complete silence. Then Mom tried one last tactic, the one she'd used my entire life. If you walk away now, don't expect this family to welcome you back. I felt the old panic rise, that conditioned fear of losing them. Then it faded. I'm not walking away from family, I said quietly. I'm walking away from people who never acted like mine. Sloane stood up, knocking something over. You're selfish. Ungrateful. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous of the person who weaponized my generosity. It would have been funny if it weren't so sad. I hope someday you understand the difference between support and exploitation. Mom glared at me. You'll regret this. Maybe I would have once, I said. But I already did my regretting. I'm done now. I hovered over the leave button. I wish you well, I said softly. But I'm finished being the one who pays for your peace. I clicked. The screen went dark. And for the first time in my life, something began. The weeks after were quiet. Strange at first, then peaceful. No more demands. No more guilt-laced messages. Just silence. The university sent a notice. Due to unresolved payments and attempted account impersonation, Sloane wouldn't be permitted to walk in the ceremony. They didn't mention my name, but the message was clear. Someone had finally told her no. I didn't celebrate. I just sat in my Seattle apartment, sunlight warming the floor, and felt 8 years of weight lift off my shoulders. A few days later, Dad showed up. He stood in my building's lobby like he wasn't sure he'd be allowed in. When I opened the door, he didn't try to hug me. Just looked tired. "She's devastated," he said. "Your mother. She's pretending everything's fine, but it's not. We didn't realize how much we leaned on you." "You leaned because I never stepped aside," I said. He nodded slowly. "Are you coming back?" I shook my head. "Not unless the terms change." He didn't argue. Maybe for the first time, he understood. He left with a quiet goodbye that didn't feel like an ending. Just a shift. And the silence he left behind finally felt like mine. I used to believe family meant endurance. That loving them meant letting myself be drained. But the day they told me I wasn't welcome, I finally understood. Love without respect isn't love at all. So I walked away. Quietly. Fully. For good. And in that space, I found something I'd been missing my whole life. Myself. Thanks for listening, and if this story resonates with you, don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about finding your worth and setting the boundaries you deserve. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop paying for a seat at a table where you were never really welcome.